Leave the planet better than you found it. Welcome to day 199 of our Supersize Your Business Annual Challenge. You built a successful business, right? Proud of that. Congratulations. Me too. Been there, done that. Gonna do it some more. But what's it costing the world around us? What's it costing the world around you? What's it costing the world around me? What are our grandchildren going to think about it? I think about this a lot now that I have 3 beautiful granddaughters, and I ask myself, what are they inheriting for a planet and a world based on me and my businesses and my lifetime of either giving or taking to the world around me? And I believe each and every one of us has the personal responsibility as well as our business responsibility, which is usually exponential because our businesses impact much more than just we do as individuals for the most part. And how are we contributing to making the world a better place? How are we contributing to make sure that the world we leave our children and grandchildren is better than the world we were born into? I think it's a really interesting and provocative question in that every day we get to choose. Are we making things better or are we making things worse? And it applies to everything, not just our business practices and our environmental footprint and our carbon footprint and all the nonsense around that. It has to do with, are we asking ourselves the question continuously, is this the best way to do this? Or is there a better way? Are we doing something just because we've always done it that way? One of my most dreaded sentences to hear when I worked in a new company, when I'd go to a new company, I was usually brought in to help clean things up and improve things. And that meant a lot of disruption. I like being a disruptor. I'm okay with it. It actually charges me up and is fun because a lot of environments just keep doing what they're doing and never ask themselves, is there a better way? How can I help? How can I make this better? How can we make this faster, easier, more efficient, and more effective for us as a business, but also making the world a better place while we're doing that? I personally think if we free up more of our time to do the things that we are passionate about and care about, that is making the world a better place. So you can define things any way you want. I think if you've followed me at all, you know that that's what I do. I'm like, okay, this is what people define it as, but I'm going to define it this way because that works out for me and makes me more excited about doing it. I redefine boring things that people hate to do because I know that those are problems for other people. And if I find a way to do them faster, easier, more efficient, and more effectively, then that makes the world a better place. And I learned that early on when I was going to college. I worked at 3M, Minnesota Mining and Manufacturing, at one of their pilot plants in St. Paul, Minnesota. And they put me on this machine that everybody in the plant hated to run. And I figured out a way to make it fun and easy and ended up being able to produce on that piece of equipment in a week, for a week's supply at least, of what we needed. It was a component of health and safety masks. And I just figured out a way to do it. I just looked at it, figured it out, worked on it for a little bit, and then did it. And of course, the plant manager and my supervisor, the plant superintendent, had to call me into their office. And after they checked the quality of all the work I'd done and the boxes I had created of this component, and they're like, no one has ever done this before. What are you doing? And I just explained it. And then they had me teach other people how I was doing it. And I actually volunteered to run that piece of equipment because we only needed to run it once a week now. And I would sit and read books while I was running this piece of equipment and still get perfect quality out of it as a component. And so I learned early on that if you find a better way of doing things, not only is it good for you, but it's good for everybody else too. I did learn about peer pressure in that plant too, because people got pissed that I had actually done something, but then they figured out it made everybody's life a whole lot easier because they hated to do it anyway. But that's one of those lessons that we learned early on, that like, oh, hey, if I make things better, it doesn't just impact me, it impacts everyone, right? So ask yourself today, let's get really down to it. How is your business impacting and making the world a better place? Is it making a positive impact or a negative impact? And I like to look at it as a whole, and then I like to break it down into little pieces. One of my favorite areas to impact with this has always been, because I've been in manufacturing a lot of my career. I had a Italian food manufacturing business for 35 years. And when I took over that business, my sister and I had it together for like 10, 15 years. And when I took over it and bought her out, the first thing I did was change our processes in terms of packaging. And I made it faster, easier, more efficient, more effective, and more environmentally friendly. All good things. But mostly to me, it was how is it going to be more efficient and effective? Because I want to save money as a company so that we can use that money to reinvest in other areas of the business, like R&D, which is my favorite. Finding new ways and new products and new varieties and things, because it's creative and I like the creative part of it. So I like to automate and systemize the boring things and create a system for it to make it easier and more effective. And then I like to spend my time on the things that light me up and make me excited about the business, whatever the business is. So today, I challenge you to think about a few things. Number one, are you making a positive or negative difference? Yep, just be honest. It doesn't matter. Where you are is where you are. And until we admit where we are and become self-aware as individuals, as well as businesses, nothing changes, right? We'll just keep doing what we're doing. Stewardship isn't a department, it's a mindset. Making the world a better place, it isn't a department in our businesses. I don't think anybody has okay, we're going to have a make the world a better place manager or something. I've never heard of that, because it's like quality. It's part of everybody's job, right? Making sure the customers get what they expect is part of everyone in the organization's job. At least that's how I used to define it in corporate America, so I could stick my nose in everybody's business. So ask yourself, is there a better way? One of my favorite questions has become, is there a better way? Is there an easier, faster, more efficient, more effective? It used to be my question, but now it's just, is there a better way? Is there a way we can improve this process? Is there a way we can make this better? Is there a way we can improve anything in our business and in our life? I like to do this in my personal life as well as with my businesses, because there's always ways I can be improving. Maybe you find a better way to make the bed. Maybe you find a better way to brush your teeth. Anything that makes your life better can positively impact the lives of others. But even if it just makes you a little bit happier and more pleasant to be around, that makes the world a better place. Little changes. And I think that we have figured out that I'm an advocate of doing little things because they accumulate and make a huge impact. That's why I do an annual challenge. Most everybody thinks I'm crazy because I do an annual challenge. They think I'm crazy because I show up every day and do it. And what they don't realize is it's like anything else. And it falls right in line with this month's topic of and focus on contribution. I do it for me. I do it to give back to the world, but I also do it for me because it makes me better. If I do one little thing every single day to make me a better human and make my businesses better, guess what that does? Well, there I get a double whammy, right? I get two things. And between the beginning of the year and the end of the year, who I am and how I show up changes dramatically. And I don't see it because it's happening a little bit every single day, but by the end of the year, other people see it. And I feel it because I feel better. I feel lighter. I feel happier. I feel way less stressed. If you knew me in 2010 versus now, totally different human being, totally different way of showing up, totally different choices and control over what I do and do not do or choose to do. Back then, I thought I had to do certain things and that it was my responsibility. And I always have been very responsible. I always believed in personal responsibility, but I took on everybody else's crap, not just my own. And that didn't serve me very well back then. Some of you know the story, some of you don't. So today, what are we going to do? I was going to tell a story about the Italian food business, but I think I already mentioned that there are consumers, takers, I call them, in the world, and there are givers and contributors and producers. And we all get to decide. Sometimes we're one, sometimes we're the other. I mean, I like to consume a lot of stuff too, but I also know that I love being a creator and adding positive things to the world. So today, what am I going to challenge you to do? What's our single daily action? First and foremost, pick one thing. It can be one small thing. Maybe it's you look at an alternative way of doing something, or you look at different sourcing of packaging or processes or anything. It depends on your business, right? I can think of a gazillion examples with respect to the businesses I've been involved in, but there's different businesses and industries that I have literally no experience in. However, I bet I could tell you a whole lot about your industry, whether I've been involved in it personally, physically, or not. I've been involved in hundreds of different industries and worked with companies in hundreds of different industries. And so that's given me some insight, whether I've actually physically owned that or not. I've only owned 27 businesses. So, and some of those were in the same industry. 6 of those were in the real estate industry. So switch one thing today. Switch one recurring business supply, or at least look into it. I used to do this all the time in the Italian food manufacturing business. I'd look at different packaging for each product and service, different types of containers for sauces, different types of packaging for our Italian garlic bread, things like that. And we'd change them periodically to make it, number one, better for our customers. We want them to have a better experience and make it more user-friendly for them. And then we also want to maintain the integrity of our products, as well as, kind of paying attention to how much negative stuff are we adding to landfills in the environment. All of it goes into making a decision. So let's ask some reflective questions. We haven't done that for a few days. What's the last time that you thought about your business's environmental impact? And I'm not talking about your carbon footprint and all the nonsense that's been in the media about that. I'm talking about actually how you are interacting with your local communities, how much trash are you making? Okay, I worked in an industrial bakery, and we made over a half a ton of trash that had to either be landfilled, but I found a place to sell it as pet feed every month, every single month, a half a ton of waste. So we just started separating the edible waste, turned that into animal feed at a local organization, and then had a much smaller trash impact, which was better. Reduced cost of trash, increased cost of positive impact in the environment. So what's one business decision that you make on autopilot that's wasteful? I'll tell you a personal one. I used to print everything. I used to print everything out. Everything I needed, everything I thought I might refer back to, everything. Remember, I grew up in corporate and in the world before the internet, and really before much use of computers. I know it's mind-boggling to me to think that now my little phone that I'm recording on right now has got more power than a stadium-sized computer system did. So I used to print out everything and save everything. And when I think about that, and to cut back on paper, my improvement was I printed on both sides when that technology became available. Okay. And I think about that now and how wasteful that was, because the number of times I went back to refer to something is minuscule. I think the last time I went back to look at things was probably in 2000, maybe 1999. Anyway, it was a long time ago. And I just one day I thought about it. I'm like, well, this is ridiculous. And I stopped doing it. I probably ran out of printer ink or something in or paper. And it was like, okay, I can't print everything. So I stopped doing it because it was just a wasteful thing. So think about, is there anything like that that you do? Are there any decisions? Maybe you waste a ton of time on what Canva is, guys? It's like the black hole. It sucks me in for hours. AI, I put off a long time learning anything about AI because I know it's going to suck me in just like the internet did. So is there anything like that you could change or improve on? And stop making that decision on autopilot. And then what do you want your grandkids and your kids to say about how you ran your business? That's a big one for me. I still get it, and I got it from my kids all the time. You work all the time, Mom. You work all the time, Grandma. And so I want to change that. That's a thing that's not making the world a better place, in my opinion. All right, that's it. If I can help you in any way, hit me up and ask. If you are curious about this and other business topics can help you scale and grow and supersize your business, I invite you to join us in the free Supersize Your Business school community. Yep, it's a different platform, but guess what? It doesn't have any of the social crap on it. So you don't waste all your time on the platform. You just pick and choose what you want to see and where you want to go and what communities you want to be a part of. And I'm a part of a lot of them, which is probably wasteful, and that's probably what I should look at doing today, is eliminating some of those. But I always feel bad. I don't want to quit anybody's community because I don't want to hurt the community owner's feelings. Anyway, just hit me up, put me in the comments below, and I will send you a free invite, because I would love to have you if you want to make the world a better place, especially in that community with us. All right, have an awesome day. I'll, of course, see you tomorrow.